Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I am checking out the Dollar Tree and just looking around to see what they've got, anything new. They have a lot of Christmas stuff already, which most stores do, but this section right here is like the higher price section. It's like $3 to $5 section. And I always like to check this out just to see what they got. I thought this little lantern here, this little LED lantern was super cute. But I ended up finding these tiles. They are the peel and stick tiles. And I thought this one was so pretty. I thought actually both of these were. I didn't know which one I wanted to go with, but I decided to go with this gold. It was like a shimmery goldish ivory color. And I was like, you know what? Let me try and see what this will look like on the table. So I first bought, I think 20. Yeah, I bought 20 of them and then ended up going back because I needed a couple more and they only had 9 left. So I ended up buying 29, and after I laid them out on the table, I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it fit perfectly. So this was at about 9 o'clock at night, and initially I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this. But because it was late at night, I wanted to wait for the next day so that I could see better and make sure that I was like doing everything, well, and everything was lined up. Because the tiles have a pattern, I wanted to make sure that the pattern lined up with each other and everything was good to go. So the next morning I went ahead and I started peeling them off and sticking them on the table. And I was like, okay, these actually weren't that bad. Like, they didn't feel flimsy or cheap or anything until I got to this one right here. And the only thing I would say, I mean, obviously the sticky part kind of ripped off here. I still ended up using it. But the only thing I would say is that when you're ripping them off, just make sure that you peel it slow, because I was kind of doing it fast, and that's probably why I had a little mishap right here. So I kept going, and I'm not gonna lie, at the end of the table, you could see where I was just at, where the plant is. There's that gap, and I was kind of like, okay, I should have some left over because of this part right here. There's gonna be like the tail end that's left over. I was like, I should have enough to fill that gap. So initially what I did was I put the tile down and then I was going to cut it with the scissors, but I didn't want it to be super jagged. So I smartened up a little bit, and I got one of the films from the back of the tile, and I kind of used that as a measurement to cut the tile. And I ended up using a razor blade, and that worked very, very well. So I'm glad I didn't end up cutting it right here, because I definitely needed something with weight on top of it, because I didn't want the razor blade to like cut it and then it slip and accidentally cut the tile that was underneath it, or cut me or something like that. So I just used a notepad on the bottom so that when the razor blade went through, it wasn't gonna cut me or cut the tile that I had already placed on the table. And as you can see right here, I was just like, holy crap, this isn't gonna work, because there was still some, like, the tile did not cover that completely. So I was like, okay, let me just go ahead and finish tiling what I have and see what I can work with. These were pretty easy to work with. As you can see, I lifted it up pretty easily because I didn't want to, it kind of overlapped with the other piece of tile, and I wanted to make sure that it didn't do that, especially since I was pretty much running out of tile. And when I went back the second time to purchase those last 9, that was literally all that they had. So I was like, oh my goodness, I had to make it work. So with these little scraps that I had left over, like I said, really wanted to make sure that everything was lined up because of the pattern of the tile. So I used every single scrap that I had left, and it ended up working. I had just barely enough. I was like, whew, thank you. So these last 3 pieces here is all that I had in that little square that you see that's on the table right now. So I'm just lining these up and, you know, taking the majority of the table up with the last 3 big pieces that I have. And all I had left to fill was those last 2 little spots that you see. So I'm just taking the razor blade and going along with the edge of the table and just making sure that it was, you know, that I'm cutting it very straight, and that worked very well. And I'm taking those 2 little scraps that I have left, and I am putting it on the table. I had to kind of overlap these to make sure that they were aligned with the pattern, but that's okay. It ended up working out, and that's all that I cared about. So I went in with this gilded gold faux metallic metal paint that I had, and I've had this for a while and really haven't used any, so today it definitely came into good use. I ended up doing all of the edges of the black in this gold, and it matched so well. This was my, I think, third. I did 3 coats altogether, and what I did too is I really got into the cracks so that where the paper ended and where it met the edge of the table, it, you know, was smooth. All right, you guys, so this is what we are looking at. I moved the mirrors over here, which I think looks a lot better. Do not mind these silver legs. I'm definitely going to paint those black, which I think is going to look a whole lot better. I don't have any black paint, unfortunately, but take a look at this. See that shimmery goldish? And then I painted the outside of it that shimmery gold, so it matches very well. And I would definitely buy this contact paper again. Well, what is it? Contact paper, tile, whatever. Peel and stick tile. I'd buy it again. It held up pretty well. And I think it came out all right. Look at that. So like I said, definitely need to, I don't like it with the silver legs, but unfortunately this chair is really mad old, you guys, so probably going to be looking for another chair. But yeah, I like the table. Came out kind of cute. Those mirrors look kind of crooked, but I promise they're not. We used a leveler. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Dollar Tree came through for your girl. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this inspires you to be creative. Can definitely be creative on a dime. Thank you guys. Have a great week.